Hi, I'm Lucy.
Hi, I'm Molly.
And today we're talking about sending nudes.
Am I? I don't know weirdo.
It might seem like everybody's sending nudes. You hear about celebs doing it, your friends doing it, and it might feel like it's normal or even expected. The thing that a lot of people don't realise is that it is actually against the law to take or to have a sexual image of an under 18-year-old, even if you are under 18 yourself. So what are some reasons that people might send nudes?
I think a lot of people probably feel like everybody's doing it, as you said, and a lot of people are talking about it. So maybe if you're like talking to your friends or you're at school, people talk about it as if it's normal, so then people think that it maybe is normal. And also people might feel like pressured into sending them, or if somebody's asking for them, they might feel like they have to. But I think people can send them because they want to as well. I think a lot of people, if they're feeling like confident in themselves or with their body, or they really trust the person they're sending them to, I think people could do it because they wanted to, not because they were feeling pressured. I think there are like both sides to that.
So what exactly might those pressures look like that people might be feeling?
I think a lot of the time people might be feeling pressured because if they've been talking to a person and they've been getting on with them really well, they might feel as if they owe it to that person. So if they're like flirting and they're getting on quite well, they might feel like they expect that to be the next step and they don't want to come across as like frigid or like quite uptight. They might feel like that person deserves it, so they might feel like they have to do it even if they maybe don't want to.
What are some other reasons that people might be sending nudes?
People could feel blackmailed into it, which obviously like isn't nice to think about, but that is a situation that could be happening. If you've been talking to a person, or if they like maybe have something on you and you feel like you have to, otherwise like something would happen, they could be feeling quite threatened by it, so maybe they feel like they don't have a choice. But also people, if they're in a long distance relationship, they might feel like that's something fun. Otherwise it could be quite difficult to feel a sense of intimacy with that person, so maybe they want to do it.
So it sounds like there's a really varied list of reasons why people might be doing it, and it might be as a result of pressure.
Yeah, it's quite a mixed bag, like could be one or the other.
Yeah. What can you do if you're flirting with someone and it's going really well, but then they ask you to send a naked picture?
Like often if that's something that you're not okay with and you're not comfortable with, depending on how close you are with them, you could just talk to them about it. You could be like, look, that's not really something that I want to do. I'm not really like about that kind of thing. Or if they are just harassing you and you don't really know that person, you could just block them, because more often than not it's on some form of social media where you will be able to just like block them and then they can't contact you again, which is ideal if they've been like harassing you.
And it's normally quite a good indicator, isn't it, if you feel like you can talk to the person quite openly about it, about whether you can kind of trust them and have that respect.
Yeah, of course. Obviously it depends on how close you are with the person, but if you know them and you get on with them, I think it's probably better if you just straight up like, no, I don't want to do something like that, because then you've talked about it, you've got like the awkwardness out of the way, and they should understand, and if they don't understand then that's their problem.
Yeah. So what are some kind of examples of ways that you might be able to respond if somebody does ask?
You could maybe respond in kind of like a jokey way. If you're not feeling like you want to send one back, or if you're not feeling like they should have even asked you, you could just like make a joke about it, try and brush it off as if it's funny. But if they're being like more serious about it and they're like harassing you about it, then again you could just block them and use that as like a reason to just like delete them.
So what kind of things should you think about before deciding to send a picture?
I think it's really important to think about the fact that once you've taken it, you can't get it back. Like if you sent it to somebody and it's out of your control once you've sent it, then it's up to them what happens to it. So I think it's really important that you fully trust the person that you're sending it to, because in a worst case scenario, it would then be like sent on, and I think that that's definitely something you should consider.
So if somebody is pressuring you and you're finding it quite hard to kind of find the words, if you want to say no or slow things down a bit, Childline actually has an app called Zipit, and it's got loads of really great content and GIFs, and you can send them instead of having to find the right words.
Yeah, that could really help like slow the conversation down and bring it back to a easier place where you're not being like pressured into something. It could help make it light-hearted and more funny.
So as well as maybe feeling a bit pressured if somebody asks you for a picture, what can you do if somebody sends you an unexpected picture?
I think there are a couple of things you could do. I think the thing that I would probably do is just like block that person. If they're just sending it like involuntarily and you didn't expect it at all, and maybe if you didn't know them and it's over like Snapchat or some kind of app like that, then I would just like block them. But if you know the person and like you see them like in your real life, obviously it's going to be like a bit awkward, and it's like one of those things where it's probably better to talk about it. So again, maybe just message them, be like, look, that's not what we're doing here, like something like that, and just be honest about it. But if it has like annoyed you or upset you, then just tell them.
Thanks so much for coming in, Molly.
Thank you for having me.
See you next time.
Bye.
So if you've sent an image or you're thinking about sending one and you're worrying about it, you can speak to our Childline counsellors 24/7. It's completely confidential and free.